Yeah, so I've stopped the car. I was almost run off the road by a driver trying to force himself in front of me and another car, and then I come to a stop with my car very slowly, and then I get out of my car, and then he stops and he gets out of his car, and we're like half a meter away from each other. It's not like we were like, and then he just starts really rolling himself up, and then he just like swings his arm, like strikes me right here. And I'm like, shit, just completely shocked, start bleeding, and I like pull away, and I'm like, you're crazy. And he's like, yeah, I'm not sane. That's literally what he said. In Norwegian, he said, yakigo, everybody, I'm yakigo. Today, we're trying to set a new record in our long trip test with the new and facelifted Porsche Taycan 4S. Alongside a bigger battery pack and newer, more efficient electric motors, this car has even faster charging than before. So this car has a real chance to beat the old record set just a few weeks ago in the Audi Q6 e-tron Quattro. But for it to beat this record, everything has to be perfect. And as you saw at the beginning of the video, that is only one of several major challenges we will face in today's test. Will we set a new record, or will it be a disaster? You'll just have to watch the video till the end to find out. Guys, grab some popcorn, sit down and relax, because today's video is a crazy one. For almost an hour, it was looking promising. The roads, though being wet and damp, were actually starting to dry out. The weather was starting to clear. And according to the wind map, on our way down to our turnaround point, 0 to 1 meters per second wind. So basically no winds at all. And our average consumption after almost 100 kilometers on the motorway was 21.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And that was going to drop on our way down to Kristiansand because there's a mixture of motorway and also 2-lane highways. So according to my calculations, based on my range test and the consumption I was seeing, I was predicting that we would be able to, if we were lucky, have an average consumption at our halfway point of 19.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And if we were able to do that, because I say if we, I don't think we're going to be able to do that now because it started to pour down, but if we were able to do that, we would be able to go more than 500 kilometers before stopping to charge, or more than 300 miles. So I'm hoping the weather we have now, it started to pour after about an hour, is just a local shower, and the weather will start clearing up once we get a little bit further south. So I'm crossing my fingers that we're gonna have a little bit more luck today, because if we're able to have that low consumption once we hit our turnaround point and be able to go 500 kilometers, which is to this Ionity charging station we're at now on our way back, we're gonna set a new record with this car, because this car charges like a beast. So I'm still crossing my fingers. I still have a little bit hope, but it's not looking good so far, but we'll have to see. Now in Kristiansand, which is our halfway point, and that means we have covered 305 kilometers, and the weather has improved a little bit the past half hour, but I mean the whole trip it's been on and off, like wet roads, rain, and then heavy rain, and then a lot of water in the road. Yeah, so first now our average consumption is actually lower than our last update. It is now 21.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we're here with 37% state to charge. So a lot higher than I was hoping, and that's not good for me trying to go to Ionity in Ringdalsskog, which is 500 kilometers from where we started down here and then up again. Because according to the car, we do have 165 kilometers of range, but it's 197 kilometers to go. But if the conditions improve for the rest of the trip, we may just be able to improve in consumption, but we're gonna have to improve a lot, because as things are looking now, we're not gonna be able to go to where I want to go. So we'll have to see. If we have to stop and charge earlier, it may not be, you know, we may not break the record, but we still have a chance of setting a great time, even if we don't go to the Ionity charge station in Ringdalsskog. So we'll just have to see, guys. Crossing my fingers that the roads stay dry, which they've been for the last 20 minutes, and we don't have any more bad weather. Safety starts with the tire, and that's why I can highly recommend the new studless winter tire from Continental, Viking Contact 8, which is already a test winner. Remember, guys, the tire is the only thing keeping your car on the road, and that's why it is so important to have the best possible tire. And that's why I can highly recommend the best, which is this new Viking Contact 8 from Continental. You can also win a set of these Continental Viking Contact 8 studless winter tires if you go to the link in the description box down below and you fill out the form. So a huge thanks to Continental for sponsoring this video, and also for making the Viking Contact 8, making our roads safer. We have 113 kilometers to go until we are at the Ionity charging station in Ringdalsskog, but according to the car, we only have 84 kilometers of range remaining, which gives us a buffer of minus 29 kilometers. And we also want to try to heat up the battery, and that's going to use energy, so we're not going to grow that buffer anymore. But look at this, guys. Even if we connect now with the battery at 23 degrees Celsius, we're going to get 270 kilowatts. That is impressive, but we want to try to get, you know, that full 320. And that's why we are also navigated to, I'm going to show you, because look at this, guys. We're using Google Maps here via Apple CarPlay, but if I press the navigation icon here, we're also navigated through the car's navigation system, which I first saw possible with the Audi Q6 e-tron, which has an Android-based infotainment system. This doesn't have that. So that is pretty impressive that they've been able to do that with this car also, which doesn't have that Android-based navigation system. So if we press here, you can see the car estimates a 7-minute charging stop from 11 to 44% at Ionity in Brokelandsheia. So I think we're just gonna do that. And also to think today, we're gonna do the first test, the first long trip test, which we're also going to correct. So I'm going to go to that percentage, and the car estimates we're going to ride with 3% stated charge at our final destination. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to time the charging session up until that percentage, so we can deduct that time and calculate what we would have ride with 0% stated charge. And that's, I think, we're going to start doing now in these tests. From now, we're going to correct them, because I asked you guys that in my last long trip test, or in my one of the last ones, and you guys agreed, most of you, that we should try to correct these. So I think from now on, that's what we're going to do. All right, this is our exit, and we're going to stop at the Ionity charging station here in Brokelandsheia. Not as far as I wanted to push the car. You know, you guys know I always want to try to push the car as far as possible, but with a car that charges this fast, it really doesn't make too much sense. For example, if this car had half the charging speed, yes, we would want to, you know, push it deeper into the charge, but this car is just gonna, those extra few percentages, we're gonna gain that time so quickly. So we're going to this new Ionity charging station here, which is barely in use. And these Ionity chargers, the ones we're going to go to, do peak at 350 kilowatts. So we're going to have plenty speed, guys, to be able to do a fast charging session. So let's choose one over here, which I haven't ever been at. But there was some trash in front of the car. That's unfortunate. That is annoying. But okay, I'll show you guys what we are at now. So we are now at 13% state to charge, as you guys can see here. And the car estimates we're going to get 280 kilowatts if we connect now. And we've covered 428 kilometers with an average consumption of 20.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So the charge port here on the Taycan is electric operated, and it is here on the passenger side. I think the electrically operated charging ports now are standard, at least on the 4S. I was speccing a 4S yesterday, and this charger does have plug-in charge. No, this car has plug-in charge activated. So let's see if the car will, or the charger will recognize. And okay, start. I was hoping that I could, no, verifying. Okay, there we go. So hopefully we can use the Porsche charging card here that comes with the car, so I don't have to pay for the charging session. Even though I do have, you know, the Ionity Pass, and it's, you know, 3 kroner per kilowatt hour, it is not very expensive. But hopefully we won't have to, you know, yeah, I don't have to use my own money for this charging session. So hopefully this will be courtesy of Porsche. It takes a little bit of time before it, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna start the timer now. I'm not gonna start the timer yet. Oh, it's not charging? It's not charging? Okay, let's wait until it starts charging so we have an accurate charging time. There we go. Okay, starting the timer now. Took a little bit of a second there to initialize. So I'm gonna start the timer now because we're gonna time this whole charging session. We are at 13% state to charge, and the car said we were gonna get 280 kilowatts now, which is quite a bit off the 320 this car should peak at, but I don't know if that 320 is below 10%. I'm not, you know, 100% familiar with the charging curve of this Taycan, but I've gotten like 299 or 300 before I did my range test the other day. But I still think we're gonna do a very fast charging session. 165, what's going on now? Why did it throttle? Okay, that is weird. 125. Let's hope it ramps up again now. Come on. I don't hope we have any issues at all. If we do, 100 and... Okay, this is not looking good so far. We are losing valuable time now. Come on, Taycan. You said you were going to get 280. 153. Come on. Battery is at 25 degrees Celsius. This is weird. 174. It is climbing a little bit. We're at 21% stated charge, but we're not getting more than 224. This is weird. This is curious. I mean, look, there's barely a car here at this charging station. So unless there is an issue with this specific charger, why aren't we getting more speed? Okay, this is not good. This is not going to set a new record. The speed is not picking up. We're at 29% stated charge, 225 kilowatts. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop the charging session there, and then I'm gonna stop the timer here at 5 minutes, and then we're gonna connect to another charger just so we have a fair comparison, because I've already, you know, reached insane charging speeds with this car. Like, I've gotten more than 300 kilowatts when we were at a similar state of charge. So we're going to go to another charger here. We're going to try one of these over here. These are 300. So we're going to try one of these, which are 350, and see if we get more. You know, I turned off the ignition on the car also. Like, we don't have to go to many more percentage more. So this is really disappointing. Okay, we're going to start charging here in about a second. I have the timer ready right over here. So once that starts picking up speed, there we go, we're gonna start the timer. So we're at 5 minutes now, 29% state to charge. We're gonna have to go to 44 as the car predicted. And again, it is slow to pick up. What is going on? 74 kilowatts. This is so weird. I haven't had any issues at these chargers here, at any of these Ionity chargers, with speed. 73 kilowatts, what the heck? I moved the car again. I let that charger over there go for, I don't know, a minute, and then I stopped the timer, and then I've now connected to this charger. Hopefully a third time's the charm, but I don't know. This is not looking good. So I went for another minute. We're at 30% stated charge because the charger didn't pick up any more speed. We weren't going faster than 74 kilowatts, which is just disastrous. So we're not gonna take all of this overhead time. We're not counting that because we never do. We just, you know, we got an issue. We got an error. What the heck? Okay, I think there's problems with this charging station because that guy in that i3 who just left had problems with charging. I think this is all down to the charging station because the car seems to be okay. And again, it's unfortunate because this is an awesome and great car. I really like this new facelifted version of the Taycan. It is great, it is great. Okay, let's see. Are we going already? Yeah, so these are much quicker to initialize. So we're at 31% state of charge now. And hopefully, this only peaks at 300. That's why I want to go to the other ones. Those are 350. But it doesn't matter if they don't give us 350 if we're not getting close to that. Okay, so what's going on now? There we go. Let's start the timer again. As you guys can see, we're at 6 minutes. So, you know, no new records today, which is really, really unfortunate. Yeah, 193 kilowatts, guys. Yeah. No new record today. I was hoping for a new record. Maybe we should stop at another charging station just to verify that it's not the car. I think we'll do that. I think that's the best way to try to... There's one here, right here in Tongan. I think we can go to... Is there a... No, we're not here. We'll find a charger. We'll find a charger. The car's saying we're going to get 290 now. I just want to verify that it's not the car. We've driven a little bit further down the road and we're actually going to go to the Ionity charging station in Ringdalsskog, test the charging speed. I've spoken to Porsche. There's no limitations on the charging speed from their side with their account with Plug and Charge. There shouldn't be, at least, shouldn't be possible. And I have a great idea once we connect to the charger. And we still may be in for setting a new record today. So this is still on, guys. This is still on. Okay, so we're here at the charging station and here's the plan, guys. So we're currently at 27% state of charge and the battery is now at 33 degrees Celsius. And according to the car, we're gonna get 290 kilowatts. I preconditioned the battery for like 10 minutes to get it, you know, up to as good temperature as possible. It dropped to like 30 something degrees and the car was saying we were only gonna get 250 kilowatts. So at our last charging stop, we charged from 13 to 44%. So we charged 31%. That's the energy we put into the battery and we timed that. And we're also going to correct it. So, you know, I've timed it to 40%, 41, etc., right? So I can subtract the time once we get back to where we started. But what we can do now is that we can do another charging session from 27 to 58%, which is 31% again. And the only reason I can do it is because I have experience with this car yesterday that it charged to almost 300 kilowatts up to 58, 59%. So I think we may still be in for it because that would be a fair run. And maybe we could even do a better run if we didn't have issues at the other charger. But at least now we're going to get a better charging time, which I think is a much better baseline for what we already have. So let's hop out now and see if we get that 290 claimed charging speed. I don't know what happened, guys. I already recorded me connecting to the charger, but I had audio issues when I was going to check the footage. No audio. But okay, so I'm just going to give you guys an update then. So we are already at 44% stated charge. We've been charging for 4 minutes. You can see the timer here. Yeah, not really 4 minutes because I started this timer once the speed started picking up. This starts counting once the car has, you know, approved the payment. So we're not going by this timer. We're going by this timer, which is always what we do because that is more accurate. So we peaked at like 320. I mean, the car shut up right away, up to like 315, went down to 300, and then up to like 320. You can see now 46%. We're above 300 kilowatts. And we've been charging for now 4 minutes. 4 minutes is the timer. So I'm gonna time the whole session here so we can correct the charging time at the end of the video. But my God, guys, this is looking more like it. Look at 4%. We only have to go another 10%. This car may set a new record. 5 minutes? I don't know. This is crazy. This is exciting. Yeah, so I've stopped the car. I was almost run off the road by a driver trying to force himself in front of me and another car. Drove up on the side of him after he pulled into the right lane. Filmed the guy. The guy's just like laughing at me. Like, I'm like, you're crazy. Like, that's this insane situation to create, trying to run me off the road. And then I come to a stop with my car very slowly. And then I get out of my car, and then he stops and he gets out of his car. And I'm like, what's going on? Are you crazy? Are you trying to create an accident? And this guy just riles himself up. And we're like half a meter away from each other. It's not like we were like, it was physical. And then he just starts really rolling himself up, and then he just like swings his arm, like strikes me right here. And I'm like, shit, just completely shocked, start bleeding, and I like pull away, and I'm like, you're crazy. And he's like, yeah, I'm not sane. That's literally what he said. In Norwegian, he said, yakigo, everybody, I'm yakigo. And I'm like, okay, it's time to get into my car. So I just get in my car, and then I drive here. And he drives, back to where he came from. So, just shocked. I called the police, spoke to them, and just got everything on the record, reported the license plate number, and just gave my description of the guy. And so I don't know, I stopped bleeding now, pain in my upper lip and in my jaw, but I think I'm fine to drive. That's crazy and that's scary. But I feel fine. Maybe tomorrow I'm gonna wake up with pain in my jaw or in my upper lip. I don't know. But yeah, let's get back to Oslo. Finish up this long trip test and see if we can set a new record. Sounds crazy saying that, but I think we're just gonna finish this video. I feel fine, guys, but that's crazy what just happened. We're now back where we started this long trip test earlier today. And what a day it has been. It has been a crazy day. One of the craziest days I've been out filming and testing cars. First off, we had issues with not only one, but two, but three, but four chargers. So we just had to charge up to have enough electricity to get back to where we were going, back here. And then I had an idea, maybe we could do another charging session and just correct that, just correct for that. And then we did that, and we got crazy speeds. And then I was almost run off the road when I was finally on my way, and when I confronted the guy, he attacked me, hit me in the face. Thankfully, the guy wasn't that big, and thankfully I don't think there's any permanent damage, like my lip is cut on the inside. I have a little bit of pain, but I think I'm fine, guys. But be careful out there. People are crazy road ragers, crazy people who are violent. Thankfully, it went fine for me, but it could have gotten a lot worse. And I don't want you guys to take pity. But yeah, just be careful. Be careful. I'm most definitely going to be a lot more careful in the future because it's not worth it. Like, crazy people are crazy. Just stay away from them. But okay, so we arrived here with 34% stated charge, an average consumption of 20.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which wasn't as good as I was hoping, but the weather today, pretty terrible. Yeah, the weather today was another thing. Like, rain, and then dry, and then rainstorms, and then not rain. Pretty crazy. But if we correct for the charging session we had, we charged from 27 to 58%, and we arrived here with 34. That's 7%. So if we only did that charging session, and if we had the charging speed earlier, that meant we arrived here with 7% stated charge. So if we correct that 7% stated charge, and arrive here with 0%, which is what we're going to do in the charts now, we charged for a total charging time, because if we went to 7%, we charged for 6.5 minutes. But if we charged to arriving here with 0%, we only charged for 5 minutes, guys. So that is a new record. 5 minutes charging time is insane bonkers. And I'm pretty sure if the weather was better, if we could have, had peak charging speed at when we connected, we could have had even higher charging speeds throughout the duration of the charging session. We could have maybe done this in 3 or 4 minutes. But 5 minutes is insane. All of my breaks today, toilet breaks and lunch breaks and buying drinks and coffee breaks, I had to do not when charging because there just isn't enough time. which is completely crazy for me. So guys, the new Porsche Taycan 4S, despite all the crazy things today and all the problems, actually set a new record, which is insane. And we charged at such a high percentage. Yeah, that is crazy. From 27 to 58% state of charge. I don't think any other car could have done that second charging session and had that count as a record, because that would have taken longer. So guys, let me know what you think about the results of today's car. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.